You're lying down now. Your breathing is becoming slower. Your body is settling into the soft surface beneath you, and as you close your eyes, you begin to drift. Not into sleep quite yet, but into somewhere else. Somewhere ancient. Somewhere that has been waiting for you. You find yourself standing at the edge of a city that no longer exists. Not in the way cities exist now. This city ended a long time ago, nearly 2,000 years ago. It ended in fire and ash and darkness. It ended in a single day. And yet somehow it never really ended at all. This is Pompeii. You're standing at the entrance to the ruins. The sun is beginning to lower in the sky. The light is golden and warm. It spreads across the broken stones like honey. The shadows are growing longer. They stretch across the ancient streets. They reach toward you. Inviting you in, you take a step forward. The ground beneath your feet is uneven. The stones are worn smooth by centuries of weather and wind. They were once walked upon by thousands of people. People who lived and worked and loved. People who argued and laughed and worried about ordinary things. People who had no idea what was coming. You walk slowly into the city. The air smells different here. It smells like old dust and dry earth. It smells like time itself. There is a faint scent of something else too. Something harder to name. It is not unpleasant. It is just strange. Ancient. As if the air here remembers things. You pass through what was once a gate. The stones rise up on either side of you. They are tall and crumbling. Vines grow in the cracks. Small flowers push up through the rubble. Nature has been trying to reclaim this place for centuries, but the city resists. It remains, stubbornly holding its shape. You walk down a narrow street. The buildings on either side are roofless. Their walls stand open to the sky. You can see into rooms that were once private. Kitchens, bedrooms, shops. The frescoes on some of the walls are still visible. Faded now, but you can still make out the shapes. Figures in robes, birds, gardens. Scenes from a life that vanished in an instant. You wonder what it was like to live here, to wake up in one of these rooms, to open a window and look out at the mountain in the distance. The mountain that would one day destroy everything. Mount Vesuvius. You can see it from here. Even now, it rises in the distance, a dark silhouette against the evening sky. It looks peaceful, almost beautiful. It is hard to imagine that this mountain once exploded with such violence that it buried an entire city, that it sent a cloud of ash and gas so high into the air that it blocked out the sun, that it killed thousands of people in a matter of hours. But it did, and now you are here, walking through what remains. You continue down the street. Your footsteps echo softly. There is no one else around. The tourists have gone. The guides have left. The gates have closed. You're alone now, or at least you think you are. You stop for a moment. You listen. The silence is thick. It presses against your ears. But beneath the silence there is something else. A faint sound. So faint you're not sure if you're imagining it. It sounds like breathing, like the slow, steady rhythm of breath moving in and out. But it is not your breathing. You tell yourself it is the wind moving through the ruins, through the empty windows and open doorways, through the spaces where walls once stood. It is just the wind. You keep walking. The street opens into a wide plaza. This was the forum, the heart of the city, where people gathered to talk and trade and conduct business, where politicians made speeches, where festivals were held, where life happened. Now it is empty. The columns that once held up grand buildings are broken. Some lie on the ground in pieces. Others still stand, but they lean at odd angles. They look fragile, as if they might collapse at any moment. But they have been standing like this for centuries. They are stronger than they look. You walk across the plaza. Your shadow moves with you, long and thin in the fading light. The sun is almost gone now. The sky is turning purple and orange. The colours are beautiful, unreal, like a painting. You reach the other side of the plaza and enter another street. This one is narrower, darker. The buildings here are more intact. The walls rise higher. They block out the sky. The shadows are deeper here, thicker. You walk more slowly now. There is something about this part of the city that feels different, heavier. The air is cooler. The silence is louder. You can feel the weight of the centuries pressing down. You can feel the presence of all the people who once lived here, who walked these same streets, who touched these same walls. You reach out and place your hand on a wall. The stone is rough and cold. It feels solid, real, but also strange, disconnected from the present, as if it exists in its own time. You pull your hand away. You continue walking. The street twists and turns. The buildings seem to close in around you. You lose sight of the sky. The light is dim now. The sun has set. The last glow of daylight is fading fast. You realize you do not know exactly where you are. The ruins are a maze, street after street, room after room, courtyard after plaza after alley. It all looks the same after a while. Old stone, empty spaces, silence. But you're not worried. Not yet. You know the way out. You think you do. You turn a corner and find yourself in a small courtyard. There is a fountain in the centre. Dry now, empty. But you can imagine what it looked like once. Water flowing, sparkling in the sunlight. People sitting on the edge, talking, resting. You sit down on the edge of the fountain. Your body is tired. Your legs ache from walking. You have been walking for a long time, longer than you realized. The ruins are bigger than they seem. They stretch on and on, block after block, room after room. It would take days to explore it all, maybe weeks. You look up at the sky. The stars are beginning to appear, faint at first, then brighter, more and more of them. The sky is clear, the air is still. There is no moon yet, just the stars, and the darkness. The darkness is coming fast now. It spills into the courtyard like water. It fills the corners. It climbs the walls. It spreads across the ground. Soon it will cover everything. You stand up, you should go. You should find your way back to the entrance, back to the gate, back to the world outside, the world of cars and lights and people. But you do not move, not yet. There is something about this place, something that holds you, something that whispers to you, stay, stay a little longer, just a little longer. You take a breath. You tell yourself you will leave in a moment, just one more moment. You walk to the edge of the courtyard. There is an opening in the wall, a doorway. It leads into another room. You step through. The room is small, dark. There is just enough light from the stars to see the shapes. A bench along one wall, a table, a shelf. This was someone's home. Someone lived here, slept here, ate here, dreamed here. You wonder who they were, what they looked like, what they thought about, what they hoped for. You wonder if they knew, if they had any warning, if they felt the earthquakes in the days before, if they saw the smoke rising from the mountain, if they felt the fear growing in their chests, or if it happened too fast. If they were caught by surprise, if they ran, if they tried to escape, if they made it, or if they stayed, if they hid in their homes, if they covered their faces, if they prayed. You stand in the dark room and think about this, about the people who died here, about the way they died, about the ash that fell like snow, about the heat that came in waves, about the way the city was buried, layer by layer, until everything was gone, but not really gone, just hidden, just waiting, waiting to be found. And now you are here, standing in their home, walking through their streets, touching their walls. You wonder if they know, if they can see you, if they are watching. You feel a chill run down your spine, not from cold, from something else, something you cannot name. You leave the room, you step back into the courtyard. The darkness is complete now. The stars give only the faintest light, just enough to see the shapes of things, the outline of walls, the edge of the fountain, the opening of streets. You need to go. You need to leave. Now. You start walking. You choose a street. You walk quickly. Your footsteps echo, loud in the silence, too loud. You turn a corner, then another. The streets all look the same now. You cannot tell which way you came. You cannot tell which way leads out. You stop, you look around, you try to remember, but your memory is fuzzy. Everything is blurred together. One street, one courtyard, one empty room after another. You feel a flutter of panic in your chest. Small, manageable. You push it down. You are fine. You're not lost. You just need to think, to remember. You close your eyes. You take a breath, slow and deep. And then you hear it again, that sound, the sound of breathing, slow and steady, in and out, but it is not your breathing. You open your eyes, you look around, there is nothing, no one, just darkness and stone and silence. But the sound continues, soft, rhythmic, like someone sleeping, like someone dreaming. You tell yourself it is nothing. It is your imagination. It is the wind. It is the blood moving through your ears. It is anything but what it sounds like. But you cannot shake the feeling that you are not alone, that something is here with you, something that has been here all along, waiting. You start walking again. Faster now. You choose a street and follow it. It curves to the left, then to the right. You pass doorways and windows and empty rooms. Everything looks the same. You turn another corner and find yourself back in the Forum, the wide plaza with the broken columns. You have been here before. You recognize it. Relief floods through you. You know where you are now. The entrance is not far. You just need to cross the plaza, follow the main street, and you will be out. You start across the plaza. The ground is uneven. You move carefully. The starlight is dim. You can barely see. Halfway across, you stop. There is something in the center of the plaza, something you did not notice before, a shape, low to the ground, curved. You walk toward it, slowly, cautiously. As you get closer, you realize what it is. A body, or rather, the shape of a body. A plaster cast, one of the famous casts of Pompeii, made by pouring plaster into the voids left in the ash by the bodies of the dead. This one is curled on its side, arms wrapped around its head, as if trying to protect itself, as if trying to hide from the heat and ash, as if trying to disappear. You stand over it. You look down. The face is visible. The mouth is open. The expression is frozen, a mixture of pain and fear and resignation. You have seen these casts before, in books, in documentaries, but seeing one here, in the dark, in the ruins, it is different. It is more real, more immediate. You feel a weight in your chest, a sadness, for this person, for all the people, for the lives that were cut short, for the dreams that ended, for the city that died. You look away. You continue across the plaza. But as you walk, you feel something, a presence, close behind you, following. You do not turn around. You do not look back. You just walk faster. You reach the edge of the plaza. You enter the main street. The entrance should be ahead, just a little further. But the street seems longer now, darker. The walls press in on either side. You can barely see. You stumble on the uneven stones. You catch yourself. You keep going. And then you hear it. Footsteps. Behind you. Slow and steady, matching your pace. You stop. The footsteps stop. You start walking again. The footsteps start again. You tell yourself it is an echo. Your own footsteps bouncing off the walls, that is all. But you do not believe it. You break into a run. Your breath comes fast. Your heart pounds. You run down the street, past doorways, past windows, past empty rooms. The footsteps follow. Faster now, closer. You do not look back, you do not dare. You see light ahead, faint, grey, the entrance, the gate. You're almost there. You run harder. Your lungs burn, your legs ache, but you do not stop. You burst through the gate, out of the ruins, into the open air. You stop, you turn around, you look back. There is nothing, no one, just the dark entrance, the silent stones, the empty city. You stand there, breathing hard, your heart still racing. Slowly, your breathing calms. Your heart slows. You feel foolish now, embarrassed. You let your imagination run away with you. You let the darkness and the silence get to you. There was nothing there, no one, just you and the ruins and the night. You turn away from the gate. You start walking, away from Pompeii, away from the dead city, back toward the world of the living. But as you walk, you cannot shake the feeling that something was there, that something followed you, that something watched you leave, and you wonder, if you had stayed, if you had spent the night, what would have happened? Would you have been safe, or would you have become one of them, one of the ghosts, one of the shadows, one of the lost? You do not know, you will never know, because you left, you survived. But the question remains, hanging in the air, unanswered. Why would you not survive a night in the ruins of Pompeii? Is it because of the ghosts, the spirits of the dead, the people who never left? Or is it something else, something older, something that was there before the eruption, something that still lingers, waiting? Or is it simply the weight of history, the heaviness of sorrow, the presence of so much death, so much loss, so much that ended too soon? Perhaps it is all of these things, or none of them. Perhaps the ruins are just ruins, stone and ash and time, nothing more, but you remember the breathing, the footsteps, the feeling of being watched, and you are not sure. You cannot be sure. You keep walking, away from the ruins, into the night. Your shadow stretches long behind you, and for a moment, just a moment, it seems to move on its own, to hesitate, to look back. But when you turn to check, it is just a shadow, just a trick of the light. You continue on, into the darkness, into the unknown, and behind you, the ruins of Pompeii settle into silence, waiting for the next visitor, the next curious soul, the next person who wonders what it would be like to spend a night among the dead. And the city whispers, soft and low, a voice made of wind and stone and memory, "Come back, stay a little longer, just a little longer." But you do not hear it, or if you do, you pretend not to. You walk away, you leave the dead to their rest, you leave the ruins to their silence, and you tell yourself you are safe now, you are out, you are free, but a part of you remains, a part of you stayed behind, in the dark streets, in the empty rooms, in the shadows between the stones, a part of you that will always be there, walking, searching, listening, for something you cannot name, for something you cannot find, for something that calls to you from the depths of time. And maybe that is why you would not survive a night in Pompeii, not because of ghosts or spirits or danger, but because a night there would change you, would take something from you, or give you something you did not want, a knowledge, a memory, a connection to the past that cannot be broken. And once you have that, you can never truly leave, you can never truly be free, you carry it with you, always, forever, like a shadow, like a whisper, like a dream you cannot quite remember but cannot quite forget. You walk on through the night, the ruins fade behind you, but they do not disappear, they stay with you, in your mind, in your heart, in the quiet moments when you close your eyes and drift. And sometimes, in those moments, you find yourself back there, back in the narrow streets, back in the dark courtyards, back in the presence of something ancient and unknowable, and you wonder, did you ever really leave? Or are you still there, still walking, still searching, still listening, for the breathing, for the footsteps, for the voice that calls your name? Stay a little longer, just a little longer. Your breathing is slow now, your body is heavy, you're drifting, deeper and deeper, into sleep, into dreams, into this space between waking and sleeping where anything is possible, and in that space, you're back in Pompeii, walking the streets, touching the walls, listening to the silence. But it is different now, softer, gentler. The fear is gone, the panic has faded. Now there is only curiosity, only wonder, only the slow, calm exploration of a place outside of time. You walk through the forum, you sit by the fountain, you stand in the empty rooms and imagine the lives that were lived there. The love, the laughter, the ordinary moments that make up a life, and you feel a connection, a kinship, with the people who lived here, with the people who died here, with the city itself. You're not afraid anymore. You're not alone. You are part of something larger, something that stretches back through the centuries, something that connects all of us, all of humanity, across time and space and death, and you realize. This is why you would not survive a night in Pompeii, not because it would kill you, but because it would change you. It would open your eyes to something you had not seen before, something beautiful and terrible and true, the impermanence of everything, the fragility of life, the inevitability of death, the persistence of memory. And once you see that, once you truly understand it, you cannot go back, you cannot unsee it, you carry it with you, forever. But it is not a burden, not really. It is a gift, a reminder. to live fully, to love deeply, to cherish the moments you have, because they will not last. Nothing lasts. Everything changes. Everything ends. But that's not sad. Not really. It is just true. And there is a strange comfort in that truth. A peace, a release. You lie down in the ruins, on the warm stones, under the stars. You close your eyes, you listen to the silence, and beneath the silence you hear it. The breathing, the slow, steady rhythm, in and out, in and out. But you're not afraid, because you understand now. It is not something to fear. It is just the city, breathing, living, in its own way, in its own time, and you breathe with it. In and out, in and out. Your breath syncing with the breath of the city, the breath of the past, the breath of all the people who came before, and you drift, deeper, deeper, into sleep, into dreams, into the place where the dead and the living meet, where the past and the present touch. Where time dissolves and everything is now. Everything is always. You're in Pompeii. You're always in Pompeii. You have always been in Pompeii. You will always be in Pompeii. And that is okay. That is as it should be. Because Pompeii is not just a place. It is a state of mind, a feeling, a memory, a dream. It is the place we all go when we close our eyes and drift. The place where the walls between worlds grow thin. The place where we can walk among the dead and feel their presence, the place where we can remember, the place where we can forget, the place where we can be. Just be. Your body is sinking now, into the mattress, into the bed, into the earth. You're so heavy, so tired, so ready to let go, and you do. You let go. You release your grip on the waking world. You allow yourself to fall, into sleep, into the dark, into the unknown. And as you fall, you're still in Pompeii, still walking the streets, still touching the walls, still listening to the silence. But it is peaceful now, calm. There is no fear, no panic, no danger, just the quiet presence of history, just the soft whisper of time. You walk through the city, slow and easy. You're in no hurry. You have all the time in the world, all the time that ever was, all the time that ever will be. You pass through the forum, through the streets, through the courtyards, through the empty rooms, and in each place you pause. You take a moment, you breathe, you remember, you honour, you acknowledge. The lives that were lived here, the people who called this place home, the dreams that were dreamed, the hopes that were hoped, the fears that were feared. You carry them with you now, in your heart, in your mind, in your soul. They are part of you, just as you are part of them, connected across the centuries, bound by the simple fact of existence, of being human, of being alive, even if only for a moment, even if only for a breath. You reach the edge of the city, the gate, the entrance, the threshold between the ruins and the world beyond. You stand there, looking back, looking forward, caught between two places, two times, two states of being, and you make a choice not to leave, not to stay, but to exist in both places at once, to carry the ruins with you wherever you go, to let them live in you, to let them shape you, to let them teach you about impermanence, about beauty, about loss, about memory, about the thin line between life and death, about the way everything is connected, about the way nothing is ever truly lost. It just changes form. It just moves from one place to another, from the physical to the spiritual, from the visible to the invisible, from the known to the unknown. And in that knowledge, there is peace, there is acceptance, there is a deep abiding calm. You turn away from the gate, you walk back into the city, into the ruins, into the heart of Pompeii. But you are not afraid, you are not lost. You know exactly where you are. You know exactly what you are doing. You are resting, you are dreaming, you are allowing yourself to drift into the spaces between, the spaces where magic happens, where transformation occurs, where the impossible becomes possible. You find a place to lie down, a smooth patch of stone, warm from the day's sun, soft somehow, welcoming. You lie down, you close your eyes, you let your body relax, every muscle, every tendon, every cell, letting go, releasing, surrendering. And as you do, you feel the city around you, not pressing in, not threatening, just present, just there, holding you, supporting you, cradling you like a child. You hear the breathing again, that slow, steady rhythm, in and out, and you realize it is your own breathing, your own rhythm. You and the city are one, breathing together, existing together, being together. And in that moment you understand, you finally understand, why you would not survive a night in the ruins of Pompeii. Not because you would die, not because ghosts would harm you, not because of danger or fear or anything external, but because to truly spend a night in Pompeii, to truly open yourself to the experience, to truly let the city in, would be to change so fundamentally, so deeply, so completely, that the person who emerged in the morning would not be the same person who entered at dusk. You would not survive, because survival implies remaining the same, continuing unchanged, persisting in your current form, and that is not what happens in Pompeii. Not if you truly let it happen, not if you truly allow the experience to touch you. In Pompeii, you transform, you evolve, you become something new, something different, something more, or perhaps something less, or perhaps just something other. You shed your old skin, your old self, your old understanding of the world, and you step into something new, something ancient, something timeless. You become part of the story, part of the legend, part of the endless cycle of life and death and rebirth. Part of the great continuum of human experience that stretches back to the beginning and forward to the end, and beyond. And in that transformation, the old you dies. The old you does not survive, but something new is born, something beautiful, something terrible, something true. And that is not a bad thing. That is not something to fear. That is just the way of things, the way of the world, the way of existence. Everything changes. Everything transforms. Everything moves from one state to another, and we can resist it. We can fight it. We can try to hold on to what was, or we can embrace it. We can welcome it. We can open ourselves to the transformation and trust that whatever comes next will be exactly what we need. You breathe, slow and deep, in and out, your breath merging with the breath of the city. With the breath of the ages, with the breath of all that was and all that will be. And you let go. You let go of the need to understand, the need to explain, the need to rationalize. You let go of the fear, the anxiety, the resistance. You just allow, you just accept, you just be. And in that allowing, in that acceptance, in that being, you find something unexpected, something you'd been searching for without knowing you were searching for it. Peace. Deep, abiding, unshakable peace. Not the peace that comes from the absence of trouble, but the peace that comes from the acceptance of all things. The peace that comes from understanding that everything is exactly as it should be. The peace that comes from knowing that you are part of something larger than yourself, something that cannot be destroyed or diminished or ended. You are part of the great tapestry of existence, a single thread in an infinite weaving, and your thread is important. Your thread matters, but it is not separate. It is not alone. It is connected to all the other threads, all the other lives, all the other stories, and together you create something beautiful, something meaningful, something that transcends the individual parts and becomes something greater. You rest in that knowledge. You rest in that peace. You rest in the warm embrace of the city, the ancient stones, the silent walls, the empty rooms that are not really empty, that are filled with memory, with presence, with the echoes of all who came before. Your breathing slows even more, deeper, longer, each breath taking you further down, further into the depths of sleep, the depths of rest, the depths of being. And as you drift, the boundaries between yourself and the city blur. You're not sure where you end and Pompeii begins. You're not sure if you're lying on stone or floating in air. You're not sure if you're alone or surrounded by thousands, and it does not matter. None of it matters, because in this moment, in this place, in this state of being, all divisions dissolve, all separations fade, all distinctions disappear. There is only the whole, the complete, the one, and you are part of it. You have always been part of it. You will always be part of it. The city breathes, you breathe, the universe breathes, all in rhythm, all in harmony, all in perfect synchronization, in and out, in and out, in and out. The sound becomes a lullaby, ancient and eternal, sung by the stones themselves, sung by the earth, sung by the stars overhead. Sleep, sleep, sleep. And you do. You sink into sleep, deep and dreamless, or perhaps filled with dreams. Dreams of ancient streets and bustling markets and ordinary lives. Dreams of laughter and love and loss. Dreams of fire and ash and endings. Dreams of silence and stone and new beginnings. You sleep in the ruins of Pompeii under the stars, under the watchful gaze of the mountain, under the protection of all who came before, all who remain, all who will never truly leave, and in your sleep you are transformed, cell by cell, breath by breath, moment by moment. The old you fades, the new you emerges, different, changed, evolved. The night deepens around you, the stars wheel slowly overhead. Their light is cold and distant, but not unkind. They have watched over this city for millennia. They watched it rise. They watched it fall. They watched it sleep beneath the ash. They watched it wake again. And now they watch over you. You are dreaming now, deep in the realm of sleep. And in your dream, you're walking through Pompeii again. But it is different. The city is alive. The roofs are intact. The walls are painted bright colours, red and yellow and blue. The streets are clean. The fountains are flowing. And there are people, thousands of them, moving through the streets, talking, laughing, living. They wear simple tunics and sandals. Their skin is tan from the sun. Their hands are rough from work, but their eyes are bright. Their smiles are real. You walk among them, but they do not see you. You're a ghost to them, a visitor from a future they cannot imagine, a witness to a life that will soon end. You watch a woman fill a jar at the fountain. The water splashes and sparkles in the sunlight. She lifts the jar to her shoulder, heavy with water. She walks away, her footsteps steady and sure. You watch children play in an alley. They chase each other, laughing and shrieking. Their voices echo off the walls. One of them trips and falls, scrapes a knee, cries for a moment, then gets up and runs again. You watch a man in a shop. He's a baker. His hands are white with flour. He kneads dough on a wooden table. His movements are practiced, efficient. He has done this 1,000 times. He will do it 1,000 more. Or so he thinks. You want to warn them. You want to tell them what is coming. You want to shout, to scream, to make them understand that they need to leave, that they need to run, that the mountain is not sleeping, that death is coming, but you cannot speak. Your voice does not work in this dream. You can only watch, only witness, only remember. You walk through the forum. It is full of people, merchants selling goods, politicians giving speeches, friends meeting and talking, life in all its ordinary glory. The sun is bright, the sky is blue. There is no hint of what is to come, no warning, no sign, just a beautiful day in a thriving city. And then you feel it, a tremor, faint at first, a slight vibration in the ground. The people pause. They look around, uncertain, worried. But then it passes. The ground is still again. The people relax. They laugh nervously. Just an earthquake. Nothing serious. They happen all the time. This is Italy. The earth shakes. It is normal. They go back to their business, their conversations, their lives. But you know what is coming. You know that this is not just an earthquake. This is the beginning, the first sign, the warning they will not heed. You want to stay, to watch, to see what happens next. But the dream is fading. The colours are bleeding away. The sounds are growing distant. The people are becoming transparent. Ghosts of ghosts. And then you're back in the darkness, back in the ruins, back in the silent city of stone and ash. You are still lying on the warm stone, still breathing slowly, still drifting in that space between sleeping and waking. But something has changed. You feel heavier, more solid, more connected to this place, as if the dream has anchored you here, as if you have put down roots that reach deep into the ancient earth. You open your eyes, just for a moment, just to see. The stars are still there, still watching. The ruins are still around you, still silent, still waiting. But something is different. You can feel it. A presence, a watching, a listening. You are not alone, but you're not afraid. Not anymore. because you understand now. The city is alive, not in the way we think of life, not with breath and blood and heartbeat, but in another way, in the way that memory is alive, in the way that history is alive, in the way that stories are alive. Pompeii lives in the people who visit it, in the scholars who study it, in the artists who paint it, in the writers who describe it, in the dreamers who imagine it, and now it lives in you. You close your eyes again, you sink back into sleep, deeper this time, further from the surface, further from the waking world, and as you sink, you hear voices, faint and distant, speaking in a language you do not know, Latin, ancient and musical. The words flow like water, like wind, like time itself. You cannot understand the words, but you understand the feeling behind them, the emotion, the humanity. They are talking about ordinary things, the weather, the harvest, the price of grain, family matters, neighborhood gossip, the small concerns that fill a life. And you realize, this is what has been lost. Not just the buildings, not just the art, not just the objects, but this, the everyday, the mundane, the simple rhythm of ordinary life. History remembers the great events, the wars, the disasters, the triumphs, but it forgets the quiet moments, the morning conversations, the evening meals, the casual greetings between neighbors, and yet these are the moments that make up a life. These are the moments that matter. These are the moments that define us, and Pompeii preserved them, froze them in time, kept them safe beneath the ash, so that we could remember, so that we could see, so that we could understand that the people who lived here were just like us, that they worried about the same things, that they loved and feared and hoped in the same ways, that they were human, just human, nothing more, nothing less. And in recognizing that, we recognize ourselves. We see our own lives reflected in their lives, our own struggles, our own joys, our own mortality. Because we are all the same, across time, across culture, across distance. We are all just human, all just trying to live, to love, to make sense of this strange and beautiful world. The voices fade, the darkness deepens, you are falling again, further into sleep, further into dreams, further into the mystery, and as you fall, you remember something you had forgotten, something important. You remember why you came here, to Pompeii, to the ruins, to this place of endings and beginnings. You came to understand, to learn, to see what it means to survive, or not to survive. You came because something in you was drawn here, something that needed to see this place, to walk these streets, to breathe this air, to touch these stones. You came because you were searching for something, an answer, a truth, a meaning, and now you have found it, or rather, it has found you. The truth is this: you do not survive a night in Pompeii because survival is an illusion, a trick of the mind, a story we tell ourselves to feel safe, because nothing survives. Not really, not forever. Everything changes, everything ends. Everything transforms into something else. The people of Pompeii did not survive, but they did not truly die either. They live on, in the stones, in the art, in the stories, in the memory of all who come after. And you will not survive. Not the you that you are now, not the you that entered these ruins, that you will be transformed, changed, made into something new, and in that transformation you will die, and you will be born, and you will become part of the great cycle, the endless dance, the eternal return. You rest in this knowledge, this understanding, this truth, and it brings you peace, it brings you comfort, it brings you a strange and unexpected joy. Because if nothing survives, then nothing is truly lost. Everything continues, everything transforms, everything becomes something new. Death is not an ending, it is a transition. A doorway, a beginning. And Pompeii teaches us this, shows us this, gives us this gift. If we are willing to receive it, if we are willing to open ourselves to the lesson, you breathe, slow and deep, your chest rising and falling, your heart beating steady and strong. You are alive, right now, in this moment, and that is enough. That is everything. The night continues. The stars continue their slow dance, the city continues its patient vigil, and you continue to sleep, to dream, to drift in that space where all things are possible. You dream of water, cool and clear, flowing through the streets of Pompeii. Not flood water, not destructive, but gentle, life-giving, cleansing. The water washes over the stones, it fills the fountains, it runs through the channels, it brings the city back to life, and with the water comes green, plants, vines, trees, growing up through the cracks, pushing through the rubble, reclaiming the space, making it new again. Birds come, they nest in the ruins, they sing in the morning, their voices bright and clear, celebrating the new day, the new life, the new beginning. And people come too, not the old inhabitants, but new ones, visitors, wanderers, seekers, like you. They walk the streets, they touch the walls, they listen to the silence, they feel the presence of the past. And they are changed, just as you are being changed. They are transformed, they become part of the story, part of the legend, part of the endless cycle. Pompeii gives and gives and gives. It has been giving for centuries, since it was first uncovered, first excavated, first revealed to the world. It gives us a window into the past, a glimpse of how people lived, how they died, how they dreamed. It gives us a mirror, showing us ourselves, our own lives, our own mortality, our own humanity. It gives us a lesson about impermanence, about change, about the preciousness of every moment, and it asks for nothing in return. Just that we remember, just that we honour, just that we carry the story forward. You turn in your sleep, your body shifts on the stone, finding a more comfortable position. Your breathing remains slow and steady. Your mind continues to drift. You dream of the mountain now, Vesuvius, tall and dark against the sky. You're standing at its base, looking up, feeling small and insignificant, feeling the power of the earth beneath your feet. The mountain is quiet, peaceful. It has been sleeping for a long time, decades, centuries even, since the last eruption. The last time it reminded the world of its power, but you can feel it. Beneath the surface, the heat, the pressure, the molten rock, the energy, waiting, building, preparing. The mountain is not evil. It is not cruel. It is just the earth doing what the earth does, moving, shifting, releasing pressure, finding balance. It does not think. It does not plan. It does not intend harm. It simply is, a force of nature, powerful and indifferent, beautiful and terrible. You place your hand on the rock. It is warm, not hot, just warm, like skin, like flesh. The mountain is alive in its own way, ancient and patient, timeless and eternal. You feel a connection, a kinship. You and the mountain are both part of the same world, both made of the same elements, both subject to the same laws, both temporary and eternal at once. The mountain has destroyed. But it has also created. The soil around it is rich, fertile, perfect for growing things. The ash that buried Pompeii also fed the land, gave life to new plants, new crops, new forests, destruction and creation, death and life, endings and beginnings. They are not opposites, they are partners. Two sides of the same coin, two parts of the same cycle. You understand this now. You feel it in your bones, in your blood, in your soul. The truth that Pompeii has been trying to teach you all along, that everything is connected, everything is part of the whole, and the whole is always moving, always changing, always transforming. You cannot stop it. You cannot control it. You can only accept it, embrace it, flow with it. Resistance brings suffering. Acceptance brings peace. You remove your hand from the mountain. You turn away. You walk back toward the city, back toward the ruins, back toward your resting place. But as you walk, you notice something. The city is different, changed. The walls are higher, the colours are brighter, the air is fresher, and there are sounds, voices, laughter, music. The city is alive again, not as it was, but as something new, something transformed, something evolved. You walk through the streets. They are familiar but different. You recognize the shapes, the layout, the structure. but everything has been made new, refreshed, renewed. You see people, they smile at you, they nod, they acknowledge your presence. You're not a ghost to them, you're real, you're here, you're part of their world, and you realize this is not the past, this is not the future, this is the eternal now, the place where all times meet, where all possibilities exist, where all stories converge. This is the dream space, the in-between, the threshold, the place where transformation happens, where old becomes new, where death becomes life, where endings become beginnings. You walk to the forum. It is full of people, but they are not the ancient Romans, they are everyone. People from all times, all places, all cultures, all gathering here, in this space, in this moment. They are all here to learn the same lesson, to receive the same gift, to undergo the same transformation. They are all here to understand what it means to not survive, to let go, to become something new. You sit down on a bench, you watch the people. They move like water, like wind, like light, fluid and graceful, connected and whole, and you feel yourself becoming like them, your edges softening, your boundaries dissolving, your separateness fading. You're becoming part of the whole, part of the one, part of the eternal flow, and it feels right. It feels natural. It feels like coming home. A child runs past you, laughing, chasing a ball. The ball rolls to your feet. You pick it up. You hand it to the child. The child smiles, says something you do not understand, but the meaning is clear. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this. The child runs off, the ball bouncing, the laughter echoing, and you smile. You cannot help it. There is such joy here, such lightness, such freedom. This is what lies on the other side of survival, on the other side of letting go, on the other side of transformation. Not darkness, not emptiness, not nothingness, but light, fullness, connection, joy. You stand up. You continue walking, through the city, through the dream, through the transformation. You pass a garden, full of flowers, roses and lilies and blooms you do not recognize. Their colours are impossibly bright. Their scents are intoxicating. You stop. You breathe deeply. You fill your lungs with the perfume, and you feel lighter, as if the scent has lifted something from you, some burden, some weight, some heaviness you've been carrying without knowing it. You continue on, through an archway, into a courtyard. There is a tree in the centre, ancient and gnarled. Its branches reach toward the sky. Its roots dig deep into the earth. You walk to the tree. You place your hand on its bark, rough and warm, alive, pulsing with energy, with life, with presence. The tree has been here for centuries, maybe millennia. It has seen everything. The rise of the city, the fall, the burial, the excavation, the visitors, the dreamers, the seekers, and it remains. Steady, patient, constant. It teaches you something. Without words, without sound, just through presence, through being. It teaches you about endurance, about patience, about the long view, about the way life persists, even in the face of destruction, even in the face of death. The tree does not resist. It does not fight. It simply grows, reaches, extends, continuously, patiently, eternally. And you can be like the tree. You can root yourself in the present. You can reach toward the future. You can grow, continuously, patiently, eternally. You thank the tree silently in your heart, and you move on, through the courtyard, through another archway, into a new space. This one is quieter, darker, more intimate. It is a small room with walls on 3 sides, open to the sky on the 4th. There is a pool in the centre, still and clear, reflecting the stars above. You walk to the edge, you look down into the water, and you see yourself, but not as you are, or rather, not only as you are. You see all the versions of yourself, all the ages, all the stages, all the possibilities. You see yourself as a child, wide-eyed and curious, full of wonder and questions. You see yourself as you are now, tired, seeking, searching for meaning, searching for peace. You see yourself as you will be, older, wiser, more settled, more accepting, more at peace, and you see yourself as you could be. All the paths not taken, all the choices not made, all the lives not lived. They are all there, in the water, in the reflection, all part of you, all connected, all real. And you understand. You're not just one person, one identity, one story. You are many. You are multitudes. You are infinite possibilities, infinite variations, infinite expressions of the same essential self. And all of them are valid. All of them are real. All of them are you. You reach out. You touch the water. It ripples. The reflections blur and shift, merging, separating, dancing, and you feel something shift inside you. Some rigid boundary, some fixed idea, some limited understanding of who you are and what you can be. It softens, it opens, it expands. You are more than you thought, more than you knew, more than you dared to imagine, and that is terrifying and liberating and beautiful, all at once. You pull your hand back, the water stills, the reflections settle, but they are different now, changed, more fluid, more integrated, more whole. You stand up, you take a breath, you feel different, lighter, freer, more yourself and less yourself, both at the same time. This is the transformation. This is the change. This is what it means to not survive a night in Pompeii. You are being dissolved and reconstituted. You are being taken apart and put back together. You are dying and being born, again and again, moment by moment, breath by breath, and it is okay. It is good. It is right. It is exactly what you need, exactly what you came here for, even if you did not know it when you arrived. You leave the room with the pool, you step back into the street. The city is quieter now, the people are fewer, the light is dimmer, time is passing, even in the dream, even in the in-between. Time moves forward, always forward, never back. You walk slowly, taking in every detail. Every stone, every shadow, every sound, committing it all to memory, knowing that when you wake, much of this will fade, will become vague, will slip away like water through fingers, but something will remain, something essential, something true, some core understanding, some deep knowing, some fundamental shift in the way you see the world, the way you see yourself, the way you see the connection between the two. You reach a place you recognize, the fountain where you sat before the dream, before the transformation, when you were still trying to leave, still trying to escape, still trying to survive. But you're not trying to survive anymore. You have given up that fight, you have surrendered, you have let go. And in letting go, you have found something better, something deeper, something truer. You sit down on the edge of the fountain. You look up at the stars. They are brighter now, closer, as if the sky has come down to meet you, as if the distance between heaven and earth has collapsed. You feel a presence beside you. You turn. There is someone there, a figure, made of shadow and light, neither male nor female, neither young nor old, neither here nor there. The figure does not speak, but you hear words anyway, in your mind, in your heart, in your soul. You're doing well. You're learning. You're transforming. Keep going. Keep opening. Keep trusting. The figure reaches out, places a hand on your shoulder. The touch is warm, comforting, real. And then the figure is gone, dissolved back into the shadows, into the stone, into the air, but the warmth remains, on your shoulder, in your chest, in your center. You're not alone. You have never been alone, even when you thought you were, even when you felt abandoned, even when you were afraid. There has always been something with you, some presence, some guidance, some love. Call it what you will, God, universe, spirit, consciousness. The name does not matter. The reality does. You are held, you are supported, you are loved, always, forever, eternally. And knowing that, feeling that, believing that, changes everything. You stand up, you stretch. Your body feels different, more fluid, more alive, more present. You begin to walk again, through the streets, through the city, through the dream. You walk past buildings you have seen before, but you see them differently now, with new eyes, with deeper understanding, with greater appreciation. Every stone is a miracle. Every shadow is a mystery. Every silence is a song. The city is teaching you, showing you, giving you the gift of seeing, really seeing, not just with your eyes, but with your whole being, your whole self, your whole soul. You walk past a wall with a fresco. It is faded, cracked, damaged by time, but still beautiful, still alive, still meaningful. The fresco shows a garden, trees and flowers and birds, a peaceful scene, an ordinary scene, a slice of life from 2,000 years ago, and you realize this is what endures, not the great monuments, not the grand gestures, not the impressive achievements, but the simple things, the ordinary moments, the quiet joys, the gentle beauties. These are what last. These are what matter. These are what we remember. These are what we love. And Pompeii is full of them, full of these small, precious reminders of what it means to be human, to be alive, to be present in the world. You continue walking. The streets are almost empty now. The dream is winding down. The night is reaching its deepest point, the point of greatest darkness, the point just before the dawn. This is the threshold, the turning point, the moment of greatest transformation. You can feel it, in the air, in the stones, in your bones. Something is about to shift. Something is about to change. Something is about to be born. You walk to the edge of the city, to the walls, to the boundary between the ruins and the world beyond. You stand there, at the threshold, looking out, into the darkness, into the unknown, into the future, and you are not afraid. You're ready. You are open. You are willing. Whatever comes next, you will meet it. You will embrace it. You will become it, because you understand now. There is no separation between you and the world, between the past and the future, between life and death, between survival and transformation. It is all one, all connected, all part of the same great dance, the same eternal flow, the same infinite cycle, and you are part of it. You have always been part of it. You will always be part of it. You take a breath, deep and full. You fill your lungs with the ancient air, the air that has been breathed by millions, the air that connects you to all who came before, all who will come after. And you exhale, releasing, letting go, giving back, returning to the cycle, to the flow, to the whole, in and out, in and out, in and out. The rhythm continues, eternal, unchanging, the heartbeat of existence, the pulse of life, the breath of the universe, and you are that breath. You are that pulse. You are that heartbeat. You are not separate. You are not alone. You are not limited. You are infinite. You are eternal. You are one with all that is. You close your eyes. You stand at the threshold, between the city and the world, between the dream and the waking, between who you were and who you are becoming, and you wait, patient, peaceful, present, for the dawn, for the light, for the new beginning. The stars above you begin to fade. The darkness begins to thin. The first hint of grey appears on the horizon. Dawn is coming. The night is ending. The transformation is complete. You open your eyes. You look around. The city is changing, becoming more solid, more defined, more real. The dream is fading. The waking world is approaching, but you are not sad. You're not disappointed. You're not afraid, because you know. This is not an ending, it is a beginning, a birth, a new chapter. You take one last look around, at the streets you have walked, at the stones you have touched, at the spaces you have inhabited. You commit it all to memory, to heart, to soul, and then you turn, you face the dawn, you face the light, you face the future, and you step forward into the new day, into the new life, into the new you, the person who did not survive the night in Pompeii, because that person died, transformed, became something new, something different, something more. And this new person, this transformed person, this evolved person, steps out of the ruins, out of the past, out of the dream, and into the world, ready, open, alive. The light grows stronger, the grey becomes gold, the sun rises over the ancient city, bathing everything in warm, gentle light. And you walk, steady and sure, away from the ruins, toward the future, carrying Pompeii with you, in your heart, in your mind, in your soul, forever. The night is over. The transformation is complete. The lesson has been learned, and you are new. You are changed. You are transformed. This is why you would not survive a night in the ruins of Pompeii. Not because you would die, but because you would be reborn, remade, renewed, and that new person, that transformed person, that awakened person, would carry the gift of Pompeii into the world, the gift of understanding, of connection, of presence, of peace. You breathe. One last time in the shadow of the ruins, and then you walk on, into the light, into the day, into your new life. Your body begins to stir now. In the real world, in the waking world, your fingers twitch, your eyelids flutter. Your breath deepens. You're coming back, rising from the depths of sleep, from the depths of dream, from the depths of transformation. But you are not the same. You will never be the same. The night has changed you. Pompeii has changed you. The experience has marked you forever. And that is good. That is right. That is exactly what was meant to happen. You stretch, slowly, gently, your muscles awakening, your body remembering itself, your mind clearing. But the dream lingers, the memory persists, the feeling remains, deep in your chest, deep in your heart, deep in your soul. You have been to Pompeii, you have spent the night among the ruins, you have undergone the transformation, and you have emerged, new, different, changed, your eyes open, slowly, gradually, adjusting to the light, to the world, to reality. But reality looks different now, feels different, is different, because you are different, and when you change, the world changes, because you are not separate from the world, you are part of it, woven into it, one with it. You sit up, you look around, you're in your own space, your own bed, your own room, safe, secure, familiar. But it feels new, fresh, as if you're seeing it for the first time, as if everything has been made new by the transformation. And in a way, it has, because you have new eyes now, transformed eyes, eyes that can see the connection between all things, the beauty in all things, the impermanence of all things. You get up, you move through your space, slowly, mindfully, aware of each step, each breath, each moment. You are present, fully present, in a way you have never been before. Because the night in Pompeii taught you, showed you, gave you the gift of presence, of awareness, of being. You go to a window, you look out, the world is waking up, the sun is rising, a new day is beginning, and you are here, present, alive, transformed. You think about the people of Pompeii, about their last day, about how they woke up that morning, how they had no idea what was coming, how they went about their ordinary lives until everything changed, until everything ended, and you feel grateful, grateful for this day, this moment, this breath, because you know now, really know, that nothing is guaranteed, that everything is precious, that every moment is a gift. This is what Pompeii teaches. This is what the ruins give us. This is what the night of transformation reveals, that life is short, that time is limited. That every moment matters, not in a fearful way, not in an anxious way, but in a beautiful way, in a liberating way, in a way that makes us more alive, more present, more grateful. You smile, you cannot help it. Despite the heaviness of the lesson, despite the sorrow of the story, despite the tragedy of the history, you smile, because you understand now that tragedy and beauty are not opposites, that sorrow and joy are not enemies, that death and life are not separate. They are all part of the same thing, the same experience, the same journey, the same dance. And when you accept that, when you embrace that, when you truly understand that, you find freedom, you find peace, you find joy, not the shallow joy of ignorance, but the deep joy of wisdom, the joy that comes from truly seeing, truly knowing, truly being. You take a breath. Deep and full, you fill your lungs with the morning air fresh and clean, full of possibility, full of potential, full of promise, and you exhale, releasing the old, making space for the new, participating in the eternal cycle, the endless flow, the infinite dance. You are alive, right now in this moment, and that is everything. That is enough. That is more than enough. You move away from the window. You begin your day. But it is different now. You are different now. Everything is different now. You move with more awareness, more intention, more presence. Each action is deliberate. Each choice is conscious. Each moment is honored. This is the gift of not surviving the night in Pompeii. This is what you gain when you let go of who you were. This is what emerges when you allow the transformation to occur. A new way of being. A new way of seeing. A new way of living. Not better, not worse, just different, more aligned, more authentic, more true. You think about the stories that will be told about this place, about Pompeii, about the city that was buried and then found again, about the people who lived and died here, about the lessons that remain. And you realize that you are now part of that story, part of that legacy, part of that continuous thread of human experience that connects us all across time and space. Every person who walks through those ruins carries something away with them, a feeling, a thought, a sense of connection to something larger than themselves. And every person leaves something behind too, their footsteps on those ancient stones, their breath in that ancient air, their presence in that timeless place. You are linked now. To all who came before, to all who will come after, to the bakers and the merchants and the children playing in the streets, to the mothers and the fathers and the lovers and the dreamers, to everyone who ever lived in that place, to everyone who ever died there, to everyone who ever visited, to everyone who ever will. This is the true meaning of survival, not staying the same, not remaining unchanged, but becoming part of something that transcends individual existence, part of the great story, the ongoing narrative, the endless cycle of life and death and remembrance. You move through your space and notice things you have never noticed before. The way light falls through a window, the texture of a wall, the weight of an object in your hand. Everything seems more vivid, more present, more real. This is what happens when you truly see. When you truly pay attention, when you truly allow yourself to be in the moment, not thinking about the past, not worrying about the future, just here, just now, just being. And you realize that this is what the people of Pompeii had. In their last moments, in their last breaths, they were fully present, fully alive, fully aware. Even in their terror, even in their pain, even in their dying, they were there, completely, totally, absolutely. And in a strange way, that makes them more alive than many people who walk around today. People who are lost in their thoughts, lost in their worries, lost in their plans and their fears and their endless mental chatter. People who are physically present but mentally absent. People who are alive but not really living. You do not want to be one of those people anymore. You cannot be one of those people anymore. Because Pompeii has shown you another way. A better way. A truer way. The way of presence. The way of awareness. The way of being fully alive in each moment. No matter what that moment brings. No matter how ordinary or extraordinary. No matter how comfortable or uncomfortable. No matter how joyful or sorrowful. Just fully there. Fully present. Fully alive. You continue your day with this new awareness. This new presence. This new way of being. And you notice how different everything feels. How much richer. How much deeper. How much more meaningful. A simple task becomes a meditation. A routine action becomes a ritual. An ordinary moment becomes sacred. Because you are bringing your full attention to it. Your full presence. Your full being. This is the transformation. This is the change. This is what it means to not survive the night in Pompeii. To die to the old way of being. The distracted way. The absent way. The half-alive way. And to be born into the new way. The present way. The aware way. The fully alive way. You think about all the people in your life, the people you love, the people you care about, the people you see every day, and you wonder how many of them are truly present, truly alive, truly here. And you realize that most of them are not. Most of them are lost in their own heads, lost in their own worlds, lost in their own stories and dramas and worries and fears, and you feel compassion for them. Not pity, not judgment, but compassion. Because you know, you understand. You have been there too. You were there just yesterday. Just this morning, just a few hours ago, before Pompeii, before the transformation. before the awakening, and you know that they can wake up too, that they can transform too, that they can be reborn too, not by going to Pompeii, not by spending a night in the ruins, but by simply choosing to be present, choosing to be aware, choosing to be alive, right here, right now, in this moment, in this breath, in this life. It is that simple and that difficult, because the mind resists, the ego resists, the old patterns resist. They want to stay the same, they want to remain comfortable, they want to keep control. But you know now that control is an illusion, that safety is an illusion, that staying the same is impossible. Because everything is always changing, everything is always moving, everything is always transforming. The only question is whether we resist the change or flow with it, whether we fight the transformation or surrender to it, whether we cling to the old or embrace the new. And Pompeii taught you to surrender, to let go, to allow, to trust, to flow, to become. You sit down for a moment, you close your eyes, you bring your attention to your breath, to the simple act of breathing, in and out, the same breath that sustained the people of Pompeii, the same breath that sustains you now, the same breath that will sustain whoever comes after you. We are all connected by this breath, this simple, ordinary, miraculous breath that keeps us alive, that keeps us here, that keeps us in this body, in this world, in this moment. And when you pay attention to it, when you really feel it, when you really experience it, you realize how precious it is, how fragile, how temporary, how amazing. Each breath is a gift. Each breath is a miracle. Each breath is a new beginning, because each breath brings you back to now, back to here, back to this moment, the only moment that ever really exists. The past is gone. The future is not here yet. There is only now, only this breath, only this moment. And in this moment, everything is okay. Everything is perfect. Everything is exactly as it should be. This is the peace that Pompeii gave you, the peace that comes from being fully present, fully here, fully now, not worried about yesterday, not anxious about tomorrow, just here, just now, just breathing. You open your eyes, you look around, everything is the same, and everything is different, because you are different. And when you change, your whole world changes with you. You stand up, you continue your day, but you carry Pompeii with you. Not as a memory, not as a thought, but as a presence, as an awareness, as a way of being. You are Pompeii now. You are the ruins. You are the stones. You are the ash. You are the memory. You are the lesson. You are the transformation. You are the awakening. And everywhere you go, everyone you meet, everything you do, you bring this presence, this awareness, this aliveness, not by talking about it, not by teaching it, but by being it, by living it, by embodying it. This is the greatest gift you can give to the world, your presence, your awareness, your aliveness. Because when you are truly present, you create space for others to be present too. When you are truly aware, you invite others to become aware. When you are truly alive, you inspire others to come alive. This is how transformation spreads, not through force. Not through persuasion, but through presence, through being, through living example. You are that example now. You are that presence. You are that transformation, walking through the world, living your life, being fully here, fully now, fully alive. And Pompeii smiles, through the ages, through the centuries, through the ash and the stone and the silence. It smiles because its lesson has been received, its gift has been accepted, its purpose has been fulfilled. One more person has been transformed. One more person has awakened. One more person has learned what it means to truly live and truly die and truly be reborn. And that one person is you, and that one person is enough. Because transformation ripples out. It spreads. It grows. One person touches another, who touches another, who touches another. Until the whole world is transformed, until the whole world awakens, until the whole world comes alive. This is the legacy of Pompeii. This is the gift of the ruins. This is the lesson of the night. Not death, but life. Not ending, but beginning. Not loss, but transformation. You carry this gift forward now, into your life, into your world, into every moment, every breath, every interaction. You are the gift, you are the transformation, you are the awakening, and you are grateful, deeply, profoundly, eternally grateful for the night in Pompeii, for the ruins, for the stones, for the ash, for the silence, for the transformation, for the awakening, for the gift of life, the gift of presence, the gift of being truly, fully, completely alive. You take another breath, deep and full, and you feel it, really feel it, the air entering your body, filling your lungs, giving you life, sustaining you, connecting you to everything, to everyone, to all that ever was and all that ever will be. And in that breath, you feel Pompeii. You feel the ancient city. You feel the people who lived there. You feel their hopes and dreams and fears. You feel their last moments, their final breaths, their transition from life to death to something beyond both. You feel it all, not as sadness, not as tragedy, but as connection, as unity, as oneness. You and they are not separate. You and they are the same consciousness, the same life force, the same eternal being, expressing itself through different forms, different times, different circumstances, but always the same, always one, always whole. You move through your day with this awareness, this knowing, this deep, unshakable certainty. That you are not alone, that you have never been alone, that you will never be alone. Because alone does not exist. Separation does not exist. There is only connection, only unity, only oneness. Pompeii taught you this, showed you this, gave you this direct experience of unity, of connection, of the truth that lies beneath all appearances, beneath all forms, beneath all stories, the truth that we are all one, all expressions of the same source, all waves in the same ocean, all notes in the same song, all threads in the same tapestry. And knowing this changes everything. It changes how you see other people. It changes how you treat them. It changes how you relate to them. Because how can you harm another when you know they are you? How can you judge another when you know they are you? How can you hate another when you know they are you? You cannot. It becomes impossible. Because you see through the illusion of separation. You see through the story of otherness. You see the truth, the unity, the oneness. And in that seeing, compassion arises naturally, effortlessly, automatically, not as something you try to do, not as something you should do, but as something you cannot help but do, because compassion is simply the natural response to seeing the truth, to seeing the oneness, to seeing that all beings are you. You walk through your world with this compassion now, this understanding, this love, and it transforms everything, every interaction, every relationship, every moment, because you are not relating to others as separate from you. You're relating to them as yourself, as different expressions of the same being, as other faces of the same consciousness. And this is revolutionary, this is radical, this is transformative, not just for you, but for everyone you meet, because they feel it, they sense it, they respond to it, even if they do not understand it, even if they cannot name it. They feel the truth of it, the rightness of it, the naturalness of it, and something in them relaxes, opens, softens, because they are being seen, really seen, not as an object, not as a means to an end, not as separate, but as they really are, as consciousness, as being, as divine, as the same source that you are. This is the gift you give now, simply by being present, simply by being aware, simply by being awake to the truth. You give the gift of recognition, of seeing, of knowing, of love. And this gift is precious beyond measure, because most people go through their whole lives without being truly seen, without being truly recognized, without being truly known. They are seen only as their roles, their functions, their surface, but not as what they really are, not as consciousness, not as being, not as divine. But you see them now. You see through the forms. You see through the stories. You see through the masks. You see the truth, the being, the consciousness, the divine light that shines in everyone. That is everyone. That is everything. This is what Pompeii awakened in you. This seeing, this knowing, this recognition. And it is the greatest gift you have ever received. and the greatest gift you can give. You continue moving through your day, and you notice how different it is, how much more alive, how much more vivid, how much more real. Because you are not lost in thought, you're not lost in worry. You're not lost in planning or remembering or imagining. You are here, now, present, aware, alive. And in this presence, magic happens. Synchronicities occur, connections form, insights arise. Because when you are truly present, truly here, truly now, you're aligned with the flow of life, with the movement of the universe, with the unfolding of existence. And in that alignment, everything flows more easily, more naturally, more perfectly. Not because you are controlling things, not because you are making things happen, but because you are allowing things to happen. You're getting out of the way. You're surrendering to the intelligence that moves through all things, the consciousness that animates all life, the love that creates all existence. This intelligence is far greater than your thinking mind. This consciousness is far vaster than your individual awareness. This love is far deeper than your personal feelings. And when you align with it, when you trust it, when you allow it, life becomes an adventure, a dance, a flow, a continuous unfolding of beauty and wonder and grace. You see this unfolding now. You feel it. You experience it. In small ways, in subtle ways, in ways you might have missed before Pompeii, before the transformation, before the awakening. A chance encounter that turns into a meaningful conversation. A book that falls off a shelf with exactly the message you needed. A moment of beauty that takes your breath away. A feeling of deep peace for no particular reason. A sense of being held, supported, loved by something far greater than you can comprehend. These are not coincidences. These are not accidents. These are the signs, the signals, the evidence that you are aligned, that you're in the flow, that you are living from your true nature, from presence, from awareness, from being. And the more you notice these signs, the more they appear. Because attention feeds what it focuses on. What you look for, you find. What you seek, you discover. What you open to, you receive. This is one of the great secrets, one of the great truths, that life responds to our attention, to our intention, to our openness. Not in a magical or mystical way, but in a natural way. Because consciousness creates reality. Awareness shapes experience. Being determines becoming. And when you change your consciousness, when you shift your awareness, when you transform your being, your reality changes, your experience shifts, your life transforms. This is what happened to you in Pompeii. Your consciousness changed, your awareness shifted, your being transformed, and now your whole reality is different. Not because the external world changed, but because you changed. And when you change, the world you perceive changes with you. You see different things. You notice different aspects. You experience different qualities. Because you are looking from a different place, a deeper place, a truer place, a place of presence, of awareness, of being. And from this place, everything looks different. Everything feels different. Everything is different. More alive, more vibrant, more real, more true, more beautiful, more meaningful, more sacred. You walk through your world and you see it with new eyes. The eyes of one who has died and been reborn. The eyes of one who has been transformed. The eyes of one who has awakened. And what you see is breathtaking, heartbreaking, awe-inspiring, because the world is so beautiful, so precious, so miraculous, and you never really saw it before. Not like this, not with these eyes, not from this place. You see the perfection in the imperfection, the wholeness in the brokenness, the beauty in the decay, the life in the death, the eternal in the temporary, the infinite in the finite. You see what Pompeii showed you, that endings and beginnings are one, that death and life are not separate, that nothing is ever truly lost. It just changes form, it just transforms, it just becomes something new. And you see this everywhere now, in the falling leaves, in the aging faces, in the crumbling buildings, in the fading light, in everything that changes, in everything that passes. In everything that ends, you see the beauty in it, the rightness of it, the naturalness of it, the perfection of it. Because change is not the enemy. Impermanence is not the problem. Death is not the tragedy. Resistance is the problem. Clinging is the suffering. Trying to hold on to what must inevitably let go is the source of all pain. But when you accept change, when you embrace impermanence, when you make friends with death, everything transforms. Pain becomes beauty. Loss becomes letting go. Ending becomes transformation. This is what you learnt in Pompeii. This is what the ruins taught you. This is what the night revealed. That by accepting death, by embracing impermanence, by letting go of resistance, you find freedom, you find peace, you find life, real life, true life, eternal life, not eternal in the sense of lasting forever, but eternal in the sense of being outside of time, of being now, always now, only now, the eternal present moment, the timeless here and now. The ever-present awareness that witnesses all change but never changes itself. This is what you are, not the body that ages, not the mind that thinks, not the emotions that come and go, but the awareness that witnesses all of these, the consciousness that experiences all of these, the being that remains through all of these. This awareness never changes. This consciousness never ages. This being never dies. It is eternal, infinite, unchanging, the ground of all existence, the source of all life, the essence of all being, and you are that. You have always been that. You will always be that. You just forgot. And Pompeii helped you remember. The ruins helped you see. The night helped you awaken. To what you really are, to what you have always been, to what you will always be. Pure awareness, pure consciousness, pure being, eternal, infinite, free. And knowing this, being this, living from this, changes everything, not externally but internally, not the world, but your relationship to the world, not what happens, but how you meet what happens, with presence, with openness, with acceptance, with love, because when you know what you really are, when you rest in your true nature, when you live from being rather than doing, everything else falls into place, everything else becomes easy, everything else flows naturally, not because life becomes perfect, not because problems disappear, not because challenges end, but because you are no longer resisting what is. You are no longer fighting reality. You're no longer trying to make things different than they are. You're simply being with what is, accepting what is, allowing what is, and in that acceptance, in that allowing, in that being, you find peace, you find freedom, you find joy, not the joy that depends on circumstances, not the peace that comes from control, not the freedom that requires everything to be just right, but the joy that comes from being, the peace that comes from acceptance, the freedom that comes from letting go. This is the ultimate freedom, the ultimate peace, the ultimate joy, and it is available right now, right here, in this moment, no matter what is happening, no matter what circumstances you are facing, no matter what challenges you are dealing with. Because it does not depend on circumstances. It does not depend on anything external. It depends only on one thing, your willingness to be present, to be aware, to be here now, as you are, where you are, with what is. This is the practice. This is the path. This is the way. Not to achieve something, not to become someone, not to get somewhere, but to be right here, right now, just as you are. And Pompeii showed you how, by stripping everything away, by removing all supports, by taking away all distractions, until only presence remained, only awareness, only being, and in that bare, stark, simple presence, you found everything. You found peace, you found freedom, you found yourself, your true self, your eternal self, your infinite self, the self that has no form, no name, no story, no history, no future, just presence, just awareness, just being, pure, simple, clear. This is who you really are. This is what you really are. And knowing this, being this, living from this, is the greatest gift, the greatest blessing, the greatest grace, and you received this gift in Pompeii, in the ruins, in the night, through the transformation, through the death and rebirth, through the letting go and the awakening, and now you carry this gift forward, into your life, into the world, into every moment, not as something separate from you, not as something you have to remember, but as what you are, as your very nature, as your very being. You are presence, you are awareness, you are being. And from this, everything else flows, everything else emerges, everything else unfolds. Your thoughts flow from presence, your actions emerge from awareness, your life unfolds from being, not the other way round. Not thinking, creating being, but being giving rise to thinking. Not doing creating presence, but presence expressing as doing. Not life creating awareness, but awareness manifesting as life. This is the reversal, the transformation, the awakening. From identifying with the content to recognizing yourself as the container. From thinking you are the waves to remembering you are the ocean. From believing you are the notes to realizing you are the music itself. And this changes everything. Because now you are not trying to fix the content, not trying to change the waves, not trying to perfect the notes. You're simply being the container, being the ocean, being the music, and allowing everything else to flow naturally from that. And what flows is beautiful, perfect, grace-filled, because it is not coming from ego, not coming from fear, not coming from the small separate self. It is coming from source. From being, from the infinite, eternal, divine consciousness that you are. This is the creative life, the authentic life, the awakened life, not creating from lack, not expressing from need, not living from fear, but creating from fullness, expressing from joy, living from love. Because when you know what you are, when you rest in your true nature, when you live from being, there is no lack, there is no need, there is no fear, there is only fullness, only joy, only love. And from this fullness you create, from this joy you express, from this love you live, not to fill a void, not to prove something, not to become someone, but simply because creation is the natural expression of fullness. Expression is the natural overflow of joy. Living is the natural manifestation of love. This is the life you are living now. The life that emerged from the night in Pompeii, the life that was born from the transformation, the life that flows from presence, from awareness, from being. And it is a beautiful life, not because it is perfect, not because it is easy, not because it is without challenge, but because it is real, it is true, it is authentic, it is aligned with what you really are, with your true nature, with your deepest being, and there is nothing more beautiful than that, nothing more satisfying, nothing more fulfilling than living as what you really are, than expressing your true nature, than being yourself, your true self, your infinite, eternal, divine self. This is what Pompeii gave you. This is what the ruins revealed. This is what the night awakened. Your true self, your real nature, your essential being. And now you live from that. You express that. You are that. And the world is richer for it. The world is more beautiful. The world is more alive. Because one more person is living truly. One more person is expressing authentically. One more person is being fully. And that one person is you. And that one person makes a difference. A real difference. A profound difference. Because authenticity is contagious. Truth is magnetic. Being is attractive. When you are truly yourself, you give others permission to be themselves. When you live from truth, you invite others into truth. When you rest in being, you create space for others to rest in being. This is how transformation spreads. This is how awakening expands. This is how the world changes, one person at a time, one awakening at a time, one authentic life at a time, and you are part of that now. Part of the great awakening, part of the collective transformation, part of the evolution of consciousness, not because you are special, not because you are chosen, but simply because you said yes. You opened, you allowed, you surrendered, you let go, you died, you were reborn, in Pompeii, in the ruins, in the night, in the transformation, in the awakening, and now you live from that awakening. You express that transformation. You embody that rebirth. Every day, every moment, every breath. This is your life now. This is your path. This is your purpose. Not to do something great, not to achieve something spectacular, not to become someone important, but simply to be present, to be aware, to be alive, to be true, to be yourself, your real self, your awakened self, And in that simple being, in that pure presence, in that authentic living, you change the world, you transform consciousness, you contribute to the evolution of all life, not by doing anything special, but simply by being who you really are. This is the great secret, the great paradox, the great mystery, that by being yourself, your true self, you serve the whole. By living authentically, you heal the world. By awakening yourself, you awaken others, not because you're trying to, not because you're teaching them, but simply because being is contagious. Truth is infectious. Awakening spreads naturally, from one to another, from heart to heart, from presence to presence, and you are a carrier now, a vessel, a transmitter, of presence, of truth, of awakening. Not because you are perfect, not because you know everything, not because you never struggle, but because you are committed to being present, to living truthfully, to staying awake, even when it is difficult, even when it is challenging, even when it is uncomfortable. You keep coming back to presence, to awareness, to being, again and again, moment by moment, breath by breath. This is the practice, this is the path, this is the way. And Pompeii showed you how, by bringing you face to face with death, with impermanence, with the reality of endings, and in that confrontation, you discovered something profound, something transformative, something that changed everything. You discovered that there is something that does not end, something that does not die, something that remains through all change, through all transformation, through all endings and beginnings, awareness, consciousness, being, the eternal witness, the infinite presence, the unchanging ground of all that is, of all that was, of all that ever will be, and you are that, not the body that changes, not the mind that thinks, not the person that lives and dies, but the awareness of all of these, the consciousness in which all of these appear, the being from which all of these emerge. This is what you discovered, this is what you remembered, this is what you awakened to, in Pompeii, in the ruins, in the night, in the transformation, and now you live from this knowing, this remembering, this awakening, and life is forever changed, forever different, forever new, because you see it from a different place, a deeper place, a truer place, the place of awareness, the place of consciousness, the place of being. And from this place, everything is sacred, everything is precious, everything is beautiful. Because you see through the eyes of eternity, through the eyes of infinity, through the eyes of the divine, and these eyes see only love, only perfection, only beauty, even in the broken, even in the dying, even in the ending, because these eyes see the truth, that nothing is ever truly broken, nothing truly dies, nothing truly ends, everything just transforms, changes form, becomes something new. This is the vision, the understanding, the knowing that Pompeii gave you, and it is a priceless gift, an invaluable treasure, a sacred blessing that you will carry with you, always, forever, into every moment, every breath, every experience of your life, because you cannot unknow what you have known, you cannot unsee what you have seen, you cannot unawaken from what you have awakened to, once you have tasted truth. Once you have touched eternity, once you have known your true nature, you are forever changed, forever transformed, forever different, not in your external circumstances, not in your roles or responsibilities, not in your challenges or struggles, but in your deepest being, in your essential nature, in who you really are. And that changes everything, even when nothing appears to change. Everything has changed because you have changed. And you are the perceiver, the experiencer, the consciousness through which life unfolds. And when the consciousness changes, the whole experience of life changes, not because life itself changed, but because you are seeing it differently, experiencing it differently, being with it differently, from a place of presence, from a place of awareness, from a place of being. And this makes all the difference. The only difference that matters, because external circumstances will always change, will always fluctuate, will always be unpredictable, but your relationship to those circumstances, your way of being with them, your ground of awareness, that can remain stable, steady, unchanging. And when it does, when you remain rooted in presence, grounded in awareness, stable in being, then no matter what happens externally, you remain at peace internally, you remain free internally, you remain whole internally. This is the freedom that Pompeii revealed, the peace that the ruins offered, the wholeness that the night awakened. Not freedom from circumstances, but freedom within circumstances. Not peace despite challenges, but peace in the midst of challenges. Not wholeness after healing, but wholeness that includes all brokenness. This is the mature awakening, the adult realization, the realistic understanding that awakening does not mean everything is perfect, that transformation does not mean everything is easy, that being present does not mean everything is pleasant. It means something deeper, something truer, something more profound. It means you are no longer at war with reality. You are no longer resisting what is. You are no longer trying to make life something other than what it is. You are simply being with life, being with what is, being with this moment, just as it is, without needing it to be different, without wishing it were otherwise, without waiting for some future moment when things will be better. This moment is it. This is life. This is all there is. And when you truly accept that, when you truly embrace that, when you truly live from that, everything transforms, not externally, but internally. And that internal transformation, that shift in consciousness, that change in awareness, changes everything, because you are no longer suffering. Not because your circumstances are perfect, but because you are no longer resisting your circumstances. You're no longer fighting what is. You're no longer at war with reality. You're at peace with what is, with life as it is, with yourself as you are. And in that peace, there is freedom, there is joy, there is love, not dependent on anything, not contingent on anything, not requiring anything to be different than it is, just pure, simple, unconditional peace, freedom, joy, love, arising from the ground of being itself, from the depths of presence itself, from the heart of awareness itself. This is what you found in Pompeii. This is what you discovered in the ruins. This is what you awakened to in the night, and it is yours now, forever, always, in every moment, every breath, every experience, because it is what you are. It is your nature, it is your essence, it is your being, and nothing can take that away. Nothing can diminish that. Nothing can destroy that, because it is eternal, it is infinite, it is indestructible. It is who you really are, what you have always been, what you will always be. Pure awareness, pure consciousness, pure being, expressing itself as you, living itself as you, being itself as you, and knowing this, resting in this, living from this, is the ultimate freedom, the ultimate peace, the ultimate fulfillment. There is nothing more, nothing higher, nothing better. This is it. This is everything. This is home, and you are home now. You arrived, not by going anywhere, but by recognizing where you always were, not by becoming someone, but by remembering who you always were, not by achieving something, but by accepting what you always had. You are home, in presence, in awareness, in being, and from this home, you live, you love, you express, you create, you be. Not to get somewhere, not to become someone, not to achieve something, but simply because living is what life does, loving is what consciousness does, being is what awareness does, and you are life, you are consciousness, you are awareness, living itself, loving itself, being itself, through this form, through this person, through this moment. This is the miracle, the mystery, the grace, that the infinite becomes finite, that the eternal enters time, that the unchanging expresses as change, that consciousness takes form, that awareness becomes experience, that being manifests as becoming, and you are that miracle, that mystery, that grace, the infinite expressing as you, the eternal living as you, the divine being as you, not separate from the divine, but the divine itself, in human form, in temporal expression, in finite manifestation. This is the great teaching, the ultimate truth, the final realization, that there is no separation, there never was, there never will be, There is only the one, the whole, the all, expressing itself infinitely, experiencing itself endlessly, being itself eternally, as everything, as everyone, as every moment, as every breath, as every experience, as all that is, all that was, all that ever will be. And you are that. You have always been that. You will always be that. This is what Pompeii revealed. This is what the ruins showed. This is what the night awakened. The truth of who you really are, what you have always been, what you will always be. One with all, one with everything, one with the eternal, the infinite, the divine, not separate, not other, not different, but the same, the one, the all. This is the ultimate understanding, the final knowing, the complete awakening, and it is yours now, forever, always. You are awake, you are free, you are home, in Pompeii, in the ruins, in the eternal now, forever. Sleep now, rest deeply, be at peace. You have completed the journey, you have found what you were seeking, you have remembered who you are, and in that remembering, in that awakening, in that homecoming, you are forever changed, forever free, forever whole. This is why you did not survive the night in Pompeii, because the one who entered died, transformed, dissolved, into the eternal, into the infinite, into the one, and what remains is not the limited person, but the unlimited being, not the small self, but the true self, not the separate individual, but the infinite whole. And this is you now. This is what you are. This is who you have always been, revealed, remembered, recognized, in Pompeii, in the ruins, in the night, in the transformation, in the awakening, in the eternal now, forever. Rest now, sleep deeply, be at peace. You are home, you are free, you are whole, you are love itself, being itself, consciousness itself, eternal and infinite and free. This is the end and the beginning of everything, of nothing, of the eternal dance, the infinite play, the divine expression. And you are that, always, forever, eternally. Sleep, rest, be, in peace, in love, in truth. You are home. The transformation is complete.